So there, folks, welcome back to Towns with Charon and Velerious.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. I'm pausing.
Hello, Velerious.
Hello, you bastard. Right, let's get another strip of roof down. We're going to get this roofing done, man, if it fucking kills me.
We're going to talk about Deus Ex. We're going to get the roof done.
Oh, Deus Ex,
We're
yeah.
do everything.
Good reminder, I've forgotten already.
Best reminder.
Deus Ex, so, I don't know if you know, because I know you're not as big a Deus Ex fan as I am.
Not massive.
But there's a new Deus Ex on its way called Mankind Divided, okay? And almost instantly after the announcement, there's another racial shitstorm in the same vein as The Witcher, okay? Now, this someone referred to it as outrage culture, this whole thing of like social justice warriors just picking anything and without even doing any research into it, slinging accusations out, right? The problem was that some of the announcement pictures used the phrase mechanical apartheid. Okay, do you know what apartheid is?
Where there's too much of one thing and not enough of
another. No, it's forced segregation.
Oh,
basically,
okay.
back when black people were slaves.
Yeah.
They
weren't slaves to everyone, were they?
Well, no, but it's like it was mainly
British
and American. You know, the large countries, but even like there was European countries as well where there would have been slaves.
Oh goodness, I don't really see many black people in Russia kind of being slaves.
I think it's mainly because we had the resources to get to Africa in the first place and bring them back, and that was the problem.
In other words, we built ships.
But what we did was, when we brought these African people back to be our slaves, we enforced what's called apartheid, which means they had to live as second-class citizens. So they weren't allowed, like, for instance, one of the things that people always remember is the water fountains. Some water fountains were labelled for white people, and some water fountains were labelled for black people, and if you drank from the wrong fountain, you'd get fucked up, basically. They weren't allowed to sit down on the bus. That was one of the big famous things. There was a lady called Rosa Parks who refused to give up her seat on the bus to a white person, and that was like one of the big things that sort of... It was a big turning point in in black people getting their freedom, I guess. And that's what apartheid was. So it was obviously a very bad thing. And that's what people have leapt on, the fact it's like, it's, how dare you use a word like that and all this stuff. But it's like, as one of the developers has spoken out about it, pointing out that not only is he black, he's also French. So he's not one of these stereotypical white devs. And it's like, it's stupid to assume that all game devs are just automatically white. And as he says, the whole point of Deus Ex is exactly what it's about. It's about the racial tension between the augmented people and the non-augmented people. It's the fear that drives this racial segregation.
The thing is, it's happened in the past. It could very much happen
again. Well, exactly, and that's the point. That's what he's saying. It's like history repeating itself. You know what I mean?
It's like if aliens come, we won't just instantly go, "Yeah, aliens, you can do whatever you want," because they could be evil.
But he's saying the whole point of like, this being part of the game is that it's to get you talking about this sort of stuff, and it's to make, situations like that relevant again, because it's very easy for us to sit here now and talk about stuff like that, but we weren't there when it was happening. And, for every white person that doesn't really give a shit, or every black person who's a bit too militant about it, it's like, none of us were there. None of us know what it was like. We're all just spouting the bullshit that we've been fed over the years since our history. Do you know what I mean? I mean, how often do you actually sit down and think about something as big as apartheid among an entire race of people?
Exactly.
So it's great. But yeah, it was obviously a lot of controversy. But what I'm more excited about is just there's a new Deus Ex game and you're Adam Jensen again. Because I really liked Human Revolution.
You really did.
I did. I was a great game. The first Deus Ex was a bit of... the PlayStation wasn't really ready for it. The graphics weren't very good. It didn't age well. The controls were pretty dire. And although the idea was nice and everything, it was a bit frustrating to play. Whereas Human Revolution was just beautiful. It really was. It was so beautiful. Slick and so much fun to play with. The boss fights were a bit shit, but I could forgive it that because the rest of the game was really good. The boss fight sort of suffered from Metal Gear syndrome. We've given you all these beautiful stealthy skills to sneak around with, and now here's something that's just got a fuckload of hit points, good luck. It was that sort of brute force system of boss development.
Would it not make sense to do all the roofs?
What now? You mean do the tavern roof as well?
No, the roofing that we're doing right now.
No, because it fucks up. If I don't do it in these nice strips...
all the door roofs, where we've already put them in, you always seem to struggle with them the time after. Is it not better just to do all of them now? It's just those strips though.
Oh, I see what you mean. It can be, but it also makes it just as hard. It's hard no matter which way I do it. At least this way, I know that I'm always going one row ahead. So all I've got to do is try and use the broken roof and the air indicators to know which stripe I'm doing. It's easier to keep track of this way. It really is. This guy's a weapon merchant, but he's only got wood.
We got any wood stuff to sell him?
No, but I've got an iron helmet. Bone greaves. We don't need bone greaves.
We don't need bone greaves. They're not very popular.
Is there anything else that's shit? Is that a wooden sword? Let's sell that.
Sharon.
I'm going to sell that iron helmet.
Is he getting wooden greaves?
He's getting wooden greaves. They're very popular. You're all getting wooden greaves.
I like the splinters in my ding. They're very popular.
So yeah, I'm quite excited about the new Deus Ex.
The problem is with nowadays is that
I'm probably more excited about that than XCOM 2.
People are too touchy about everything. They had the same argument with Witcher, didn't they?
With what?
With the fact that
with the racism thing, yeah.
And then they had the same argument with Resident Evil, set in a place where loads of black people are.
The problem they had with The Witcher is that everyone is white. It's not just that there's no black people; there's no non-white people. Full stop. And again, it was instantly attributed to racism and racist devs, and it's like.
Thing is, the only way to get around this nowadays, if you want to make everyone happy, is make a room
that's
in every game, right? Make a room in every game that's only accessible through no clipping, and put every single race and stereotype in that room.
Well, this is what the Witcher dev said. He was like, do we just put one black guy in, or is that tokenism? What is the quota? What races do we choose?
Do we have 50% black, 50% white? But then where's the Asian
Where's
people?
the Chinese people? Exactly. It's
all the rest in.
What ratio of black to Chinese people should we have? What about other races? What about Eskimos? You know what I mean? Where do you draw the line? It's just ridiculous.
There should be a room on every game that includes as many as you need of every single
And what about the non-human races? Do we have black elves? Do we have Chinese elves? That's going to be a little bit weird. Be fair. Chinese elves are not really a thing in mythology.
I made an owl.
But it's not really a thing.
So racist. All Chinese fans out.
I mean, the good thing about racial diversity is that you can have games that are themed around other races, which is fine, like Jade Empire, where it's set in sort of, the Orient.
Some games, though, do require this to be a thing.
GTA San Andreas was obviously predominantly black culture.
Exactly. But some of these games require certain aspects to be looked at in history as well.
Yeah.
So, you can't just make, white history suddenly have billions of black people in.
Exactly. And you can't, that's what he was saying, you can't, set a game in the 1930s and have a black man who's in a position of power, who's a strong, respected, pillar of the community, because that just simply wasn't the case. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen.
The nicer thing to do is to exclude black people from it, because then they don't be slaves in the game.
It was the same thing with women. If you go back far enough in history, you reach the point where you have the same problem with representing women, because women were second-class citizens. The whole point of religion was to oppress bloody women.
Nowadays, it is very hard to be a game dev, and you have to look into a lot of research before you make any kind of decisions on your game at all.
That was what the Witcher guy said. He said that ultimately, I'm here to make games that are entertaining, not to fucking fill out some racial quota of diversity.
But it is the thing. Nowadays, when you want to make a game that's entertaining, you still look up all these facts and statistics. That's the reason why you can come up with an argument just instantly.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he has researched all this. He has looked into it. He's made a game around that bloody area.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So obviously he's going to know about it, isn't he?
They've obviously done some research on their... I was going to say Polish mythology. Is it Polish? It is Polish, isn't it?
I think so. I'm sure it is. But even so, they've done that research on there. So people who are complaining and everything clearly have not done the same research.
Exactly.
They've not looked these things up. They're just coming out and going, right, I can't see a black person, so obviously you're racist.
But as he pointed out in his big debate, at that time in Poland, there really weren't many black people, not even as slaves, because it's
very cold.
And it's further away from that whole sort of thing. A lot of that was happening sort of...
It unfortunately froze
around the coast, and Poland's right in the bloody middle.
It froze them white.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into this.
I'm not convinced it's... I don't know how cold it is in Poland. I'll be honest with you.
It's so cold it freezes you white. That's why there's all white over
Really?
there. Yeah. It's not they're actually white. It's just snow.
I know.
Everyone's a snowman over there. It's like an entire kingdom of Olafs.
Do you want to go to Poland?
You can have some vodka too.
We don't have any black people at all.
But they do. They're just all snow. just a white person coming up to you, just covered in snow. What's happening, white people? Hang on a minute.
You've got to understand that even now there's still places where one race is more dominant than the other. It's where we live, it's there are now black people around here that you'll see quite, often, but when take it back 10 years, and this place was predominantly white, and out in the villages where I used to live, it's still you've got a village of 60, 70 people, and they'll all be white. And it's not like...
But in real life as well...
It's just because it's a smaller group, because it's so isolated, you know?
You have that kind of social segmentation in life, though, where you have places that are just primarily one type of colour, and you could be a white family moving in there, and there's loads of one colour in there.
There is this as well, and there's also as immigration becomes more popular, you get areas that cater to people who are from foreign worlds. So in Manchester there is a Chinatown.
Yeah.
And it is, there's nothing racist about saying that. It's Chinatown. All the buildings have a sort of Chinese feel to them, and it's it's predominantly lived in by Chinese people. There's lots of Chinese goods on sale and stuff like that. There's also an area in Manchester that has quite a large population of Orthodox Jews, which is a bit odd. You'll drive through it and you'll just suddenly see loads of Jews. You won't see them anywhere else in Manchester, then suddenly they're all there with the hats with the things that hang down.
Because segmentation as well. Because people don't mix very well.
Well, no, because you prefer to hang around with people that you're familiar with, don't you? I lived with Chinese people before when I was in Manchester, and it was most of them had exclusively Chinese friends.
Yeah.
Their only sort of English friends were the people that lived nearby or in the same house as them, because it was shared housing and stuff like that.
It's the slow segmentation over time that eventually people will get used to.
Exactly,
other races
and there's certain areas that are very Muslim or very Sikh or...
The thing is, people seem to think that we should instantly now let every race have a say, and that's not going to happen.
No.
Because there'll always be people who speak against that kind of stuff.
I think I'm of the opinion of if you're going to come and live in England, then you should at least make some effort to get on with us and not just isolate yourselves, because there are areas where it is very isolated.
But I get the feeling as well, if you come to England, you should at least know British things. You should know what the British do, and know that if you do something incorrectly there, it's not that we're being racist or anything, it's because billions of years, and the British have done a certain thing in a certain way.
There's certain groups of Muslims that call for Sharia law over here, which is Muslim law, and it's well, no, because this country isn't a Muslim country, is it? It's a Christian country, and you've chosen to come and live in a Christian country, just in the same way that it should work both ways. It's you can't then go over to Africa and say, all your ways are wrong, you can't live like this. Do you know what I mean? You've got to, if you're moving to another country, you have to respect that country's traditions. When you lot lived in Greece, you mum and dad went and lived in Greece, did you attempt to learn Greek?
Yeah.
There you go. That's how you do it right. You ate Greek food. You went to a Greek school. You learned to read and write Greek, you know what I mean?
Hung out with Greek friends.
Exactly.
That was the main thing you did over there.
That's what you do, you know what I mean? And you come to learn the Greeks' ways and the way that they do things, and you try and fit in. And
you dodge the taxes. And your city goes downhill.
You don't pay any taxes.
The water doesn't work. Electricity everywhere.
You've got to be very careful that you don't flush anything down the toilet.
Got to be careful when using the toilet.
You've got to tip your boots upside down so there's no scorpions in them. Little tricks of the trade.
It's if you had a Greek come over here, though, and he went into a restaurant and went, hi, I'd like a frappuccino, and you're like...
but I think any country you go and live in, you have to remember that you're the guest in that country and not the other way around.
Until you have lived there for a certain amount of years, and then you've learnt the ways and become part of that country.
Yeah.
You've assimilated yourself.
Well, yeah, that's
slotted yourself in like a virus in a computer. And slowly over time, you will corrupt it from the inside. You should make an effort. Until the authorities... Because the point is, I mean, like I was saying about the Chinese, in Manchester, it's a very student-y area, and every year there's a massive influx of Chinese students. And they seem reluctant to make friends with the worst thing
everybody else who isn't Chinese, basically. And it's it's a bit sad.
The worst thing is, when you on about that, right? When you mentioned university students, I instantly went to we like pot noodles and such. And then the Chinese, I was like, oh god, no, not the noodles.
But I mean, it was such a weird thing because the majority of them as well will when they come to England, they take an English name.
Yeah,
John. Not all of them. One of the guys I lived with just used his original name, which was Haeyang.
My friend was called Joe.
But one of the other guys called himself Clayton, and they do this. They don't pick common names. Yeah. They pick names that are lesser known that you don't get as often. But it's they do pick an English name in order to blend in, and then they don't bother making any English friends. It's they're just hanging around with all the Chinese people, all calling each other by their English names, and it's very strange to be a part of that, and to be sat in a room with a bunch of Chinese people who are
the other thing is as well,
all speaking in English, using English names, but you're the only guy there who's English.
How people react in China with friends is different than how the British react.
I mean, they're friendly enough. Like, they would come into the room and say hi to me, and I'd chat with them and everything.
It's like the British do have this predominant thing of just talking about the weather every single fucking day. Because unfortunately, in Britain, we have very weird weather. It's rainy half the time, but most of the time it's rainy with warmth and rainy with cold.
The reason the weather's such a popular topic in England is because it changes so much. Whereas a lot of other countries, like Greece, it's like these months are the months where it's hot. These months are the months where it's raining, and that's it. Yes. So hot or raining, take your pick.
So when you get like a Greek person coming over here and you're speaking to him about the weather, he then gets very bored and doesn't understand. He thinks you're being intentionally boring to him, and you're not. It's just you're British, and British speak like this because we're weird people.
And it's the same way that, like, we have this whole thing of, like, foreign people are rude and they don't realise that they're being rude. It's not just that, it's the fact that we have different standards of rudeness. So we consider things rude that most of the, people don't even think about. Like,
they come in and they go like, "Can I have a frappuccino?" And you're like, "Tea, mate, tea." And they're like, "Can I have a scone?" And you're like, "No, crumpet." But like, scones like last year.
Especially with the Greeks, one thing I notice is that they talk very forcefully. They're very passionate speakers.
Yes.
And it's like having a conversation with one. If you get them excited, then it just goes ridiculous. And it's like, they'll say things and you think, oh my god, you can't just say that to someone, that's so rude. And then you think, well, no, it's only me that finds it rude.
They swear at you during conversations as well. It's fantastic.
They swear very casually, which I love. I love that.
Like I was saying, they've sold all their swear words though, so it's all just Malacca.
It's just Malacca, that's the only swear word they've got left.
But it could mean many things, so you don't know if he's called you a wanker or a tit-head or a shitface.
Multi-use swear word that you can just use at any point, in any sentence, to mean anything you want.
And now you have learned Greek. Go forth! Tell your friends about the word Malacca.
The thing is, once you know that the word Malacca exists, if you then listen to any Greek people talking secretly, you won't notice it until you know it's a word, and then when you'll hear it all the goddamn time,
they say it like 20 times every sentence.
It's brilliant. It's so funny.
It's how you listen to a chav, and they say like,
in it.
So, or in it, all the time.
In it, bruv.
Yeah. And essentially, at first, you don't understand why they're doing it, and then you kind of realise over time it's just because they're Burks.
Burks. Burk is a very English word.
Because they're little Herberts, really, isn't it?
Herberts.
Herberts.
I like the word Herberts.
I like the word Herberts. It's a little Herbert.
Burk is one of those words where it's like, it's so much more offensive than you realise it is. No. Because it doesn't get used in the way that it was originally used anymore. Because if you say Burks to someone now, it's considered quite a soft swear word. It's like Herbert. You know what I mean?
It's like burger. Burger.
No. What it is but we use it in that, like you'd use the word idiot or silly sausage. It's not a swear word. You wouldn't, if a child called you a Burke, you wouldn't tell it off. You'd be like, oh, that's funny. You know what I mean?
You'd smash its face in. Break its teeth.
What it actually means is cunt. Because it's short for Berkshire Hunt. Which is Cockney rhyming slang. So that guy's a bit of a Burke, means he's a bit of a Berkshire Hunt.
P.S. Don't put your children on.
Yeah. But it's one of those words that's like miraculously softened somehow, and it's like now it no longer means that, and it's like, it's so strange. No one even says it anymore. It's like, you don't really get it.
Herbert.
You don't get Herbert that much either.
No one says Herbert anymore. Although it's such a great word.
It is a great word.
You're all Herberts out there.
Herberts.
Herberts.
Good old Herberts. But I like it specifically the way that guy says it. What's his name?
Henning.
That German guy, Henning Wehn. Yeah, because he's a German comedian who's absolutely hilarious.
But the thing is, as well, British as well. We laugh at things that we find funny.
Yeah.
But we laugh out more on the inside. If you watch like American
comedy shows, they fucking scream and shove. If you watch like Dave Chappelle or something, which I find him slightly amusing. The Americans, they lose their shit over this guy, and it's like,
you've also got to remember though, British have been brought up to be quite a silent, reserved nation.
Yeah.
We don't like something, we write a nice angry letter about it. We don't sit there screaming in the streets at the top of our voice, pulling out our magnums and shooting everyone.
Which is why it was like such a weird thing when the riots happened. It was like, the fuck is that? We don't riot.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
English don't usually do this. I mean, when we're on holiday, all rules go out to pot anyway. We're known as the fucking drunk race nowadays. Fucking English go on holiday, just get wasted, drive quad bikes into cars and shit.
It's a thing we used to have a reputation for manners. It's like, the sad thing is, if you look at like
if
you look at modern day India and the way that the Indians conduct themselves, they're very polite, and it's like, like there's that spa shop near where I work. That like the guy in there is always so super friendly. He's been in there and he's always got a big smile on his face. So he's like, "Welcome, sir." Hello. Yeah. It's like really nice. And it's like, that's what we used to be like. The reason why the Indians are so polite is because we went over there, kicked their ass, and enforced our British values on them. And then we lost our British values. So now they are basically the British.
Because it's
so weird.
We went over there. And we said, serve us some tea. And they went, you what, you fucking mug? We were, I can't be having this, old chap. Beat the shit out of them, taught them manners. Charles, fetch the tea for me. Oh, yes, quite.
It is a bit strange to see your own sort of culture developing into sort of thuggery and yobbishness. It's like...
Well, we have ourselves
What happened to us, man? We used to be so nice.
I think the internet happened, really. The internet.
I don't think you can blame it on the internet.
The internet and outside sources, I would say.
I don't think you can blame it on the internet.
I blame some of it on the internet
because you were born in the internet age, and
it's made it too easy for people.
It's made it easy for people to be a twat. Yeah,
and this is the problem. And people don't then differentiate. It's like with gaming when they say gaming causes all this shit. No, it doesn't. But leaving an angry comment on a little fucking comment chain that leaves you angry afterwards. I don't know if you've ever had a bit where you've gone a YouTube comment, typed in this epic reply, sent it, and he replies back with something like, dick. And then throughout the entire day, you're pissed off at everyone you ever meet.
Well,
it's just a thing that happens nowadays. Also, as well, no one has to learn at school anymore. It's like teacher goes, who was William VIII? Oh, hang on, miss, just got Wikipedia on my phone. William VIII, he was a fish. No, not that William VIII. Oh, sorry, okay. Google's second manager. No, not that one. Oh, for fuck's sake, miss. It's like 12 of them. And that's essentially what goes on in class nowadays. People just Googling answers under the desk for the pop quiz.
Maybe it is. I think people just don't try hard enough anymore.
Because I'm like saying they're not tryhards.
I consider myself quite a mellow guy, but I can get angry quite easily. But that means I go out of my way to make an effort to not get angry, to not get pissed off.
Maybe people
I do my best not to be offended by shit wherever possible.
People are not MLG enough.
I try and remember that it's like, it doesn't fucking matter, really, does it, whether I'm pissed off or not?
It doesn't matter to you.
But you actually have to try. You have to be a nice person, you have to actually make a fucking effort. It doesn't just happen. You know what I mean? You've got to try. You've got to be nice.
Life lessons with Charon and Velerious.
Yeah. I think that's a great place to end the episode on, as they put this final row of roof in. Our advice for the day is be a nice person.
Let's all hold hands, go out there, go make some fucking friends.
Let's go.
You lonely bastards.
Let's go out into the woods, eat some mushrooms, and take off our pants. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Enough laying around on the internet, typing up your trolly little comments. Go out there, make some fucking friends.
Into the woods.
Find a dog.
Pause. And that's it. So, yeah, let's leave it on that note. That was pretty fucking intense. What was all that about?
Just kind of devolved into a chat of love and harmony.
Yeah.
We are very loving and harmonious people.
I just want to see if this guy's got a weapon before I go.
He's come out with fucking weapons again, Charon.
He hasn't got shit.
Oh, what a fucking dick.
We'll sort him out next episode.
He's such a dick, isn't he?
Right, okay, let's leave it there then, Velerious. If you want to say bye-bye to everyone.
Bye-bye.
And I was going to say I'm JD then, but she's not even here. That's so weird.
Say I'm JD.
Bye-bye, JD.
Bye.
That's it. And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.